My regrets about moving to a nursing home. Yo, I'm 82 and I've been around the block long enough to learn a thing or two about life. But there's one choice that still eats at me, like a bad decision you can't shake: moving into a nursing home. Back when I made that call, it felt like the right move. My fam was hyping it up, telling me I'd get all the care and chill vibes I needed to live easy. I bought into it, hook, line, and sinker. But once I settled in, it hit me like a ton of bricks. This place wasn't the cozy haven I pictured. It was a whole different game. I know some of y'all might be thinking about this path, whether it's for yourself or someone you love. Maybe it feels like the safest bet, or you've been told it's gonna make life smoother. But hold up, before you sign on that dotted line, let me drop 6 hard truths I wish someone had laid on me before I packed my bags. Living in a nursing home ain't just about convenience. It flips your whole world upside down, and bouncing back out ain't as simple as you might think. Stick with me, because some of these lessons might hit you out of left field. If you know someone sizing up a nursing home, this could be the real talk they need to hear before making a choice that'll change their life forever. Let's get into it, fam. Regret 1. Losing my freedom, man. The biggest gut punch when I rolled into the nursing home wasn't the cramped room, the strict meal times, or the sea of unfamiliar faces. Nah, it was the cold, hard realization that I'd lost the wheel of my own life. Back at my crib, I had my own flow. My routines were mine to make. I decided when to roll out of bed, what to eat, and how to spend my day. I could take a stroll whenever I felt like it, whip up my favorite meal, or just kick back in my go-to chair with a good book. Simple stuff, right? But once I got to the nursing home, I figured out real quick that my time wasn't my own anymore. Everything ran on their schedule, not mine. Breakfast popped off at a set time, even if my stomach wasn't ready. Lights out happened whether I was feeling sleepy or not. Want to take a walk outside? You might need to ask permission and wait till someone's free to walk with you. Even basic choices like what to eat or what to wear started feeling like some kind of privilege instead of just my life. I'll never forget my first week there. I woke up in a bed that didn't feel like mine, stretched, and reached for the book I'd been reading back home. But when I looked around, it hit me like a freight train. This wasn't my place. My books, my favorite chair, all the little comforts I'd spent years collecting, gone. In their place were cold, sterile walls, a bed I didn't pick, and this heavy vibe I couldn't shake. I wasn't calling the shots anymore, and that messed with me deep. The worst part? Once you give up that independence, getting it back is like trying to climb Everest in flip-flops. You adapt because you gotta stop fighting when they tell you what's for dinner, stop a skin to go for a walk whenever you want. You mold yourself to their system, but in doing so, you start losing who you are. If you're thinking about a nursing home, ask yourself, you cool with giving up the small freedoms that make life yours? Because once they're gone, you'll miss and more than you ever thought possible. It's like losing a piece of your soul, and that's a wound that don't heal easy. Regret 2. Feeling like I'm forgotten. One of the hardest truths about moving into a nursing home is realizing the world outside keeps spinning without you. When I first got there, my fam was all about reassuring me. They swore they'd visit all the time, and I believed them. In the beginning, they showed up, my daughter swung by once a week, my grandkids popped in on weekends, and for a hot minute, it felt like I still had a tether to my old life. But as the months dragged on, those visits started drying up. My daughter switched to phone calls instead of showing up. My grandkids got swamped with school, work, life. Holidays were the worst. Everybody made promises to come through, but last-minute plan changes left me high and dry. I'd find myself sitting in the common room, watching other residents stare at the door, hoping today was the day someone remembered them. It was a lonely vibe, and it cut deep. It ain't that my fam stopped loving me. Life just got in the way, you know. When you're not in their daily orbit, it's easy for folks to assume you're good, that you're settling in, that you don't need as much attention. But real talk? The longer you're in a nursing home, the easier it is for people to forget just how much you still need them. I remember one night sitting in my room, holding my phone, debating whether to call my son. I didn't want to be that guy, the burden, reminding him I was still here, waiting for a visit that might never come. So I put the phone down, and that's when it sank in. This was my life now, just watching the days crawl by, hoping someone would think to include me. If you're eyeing a nursing home, ask yourself, you ready to deal with that kind of loneliness? Because no matter how much your fam loves you, once you're out of sight, it's way easier than you think to slip out of mind. That's a truth that stings, and it don't let up. Regret 3. Losing my purpose, yo. When I moved into the nursing home, I thought I was just changing my address. I didn't get that I was also changing why I got up every day. Back home, I had responsibilities, routines, hobbies, stuff that gave me a reason to bounce out of bed. Even the little things, like watering my plants, brewing my own coffee, or tidying up my space, gave me purpose. They kept me grounded, you know? But in the nursing home, those daily rituals got wiped out. Meals were made for me, cleaning was someone else's gig, and the plants? They weren't mine to look after anymore. At first, I was like, sweet, no chores, no stress, just kick back. But a few weeks in, I felt this void. The days stretched out long and empty, with nothing to do but wait. I saw it in other residents too, folks who used to be full of life, now just sitting, staring at the walls, waiting for time to pass. There was this one guy, George, 84, who'd been a carpenter his whole life. Back home, he was always tinkering, fixing stuff, building little projects in his garage. But here, no tools, no projects, no nothing. I watched him fade, his hands once strong and skilled, just sitting idle in his lap. I feel useless, he told me one day, and man, I felt that in my bones. When you ain't got something to care for, something to work toward, life starts losing its flavor. Your mind slows down, your body follows. And before you know it, you're just another resident in a place where time moves, but before I really change into the nursing home. If you're thinking about a nursing home, for my ask yourself, I wasn't out here running marathons, like juice, but I could take care of myself. Once you're in there, go for walks, cook my own meals, about filling time. Keep my legs strong, it's about with fighting to hold on to the like hitting the grocery that makes you feel alive, or do morning stretches. Without it, you're just existing. I had my flow, and that's a tough pill to swallow. But once I got to the nursing home, everything flipped. At first, it felt like I was just taking it easy. Meals brought to me, no need to stand in the kitchen chopping veggies. If I needed something, I'd hit a button, and someone would roll through to help. But what I didn't see coming was how fast I'd lose my edge. The less I did for myself, the weaker I got. I stopped moving as much, and my legs started feeling stiff. I sat more than I used to, and before I knew it, getting up from a chair was a whole workout. The muscles I'd kept up for years, they started fading quicker than I ever thought possible. It wasn't just me either. I saw it happen to others, folks who walked in on their own 2 feet, full of energy, ending up in wheelchairs. People who used to be independent started needing help with stuff they never struggled with before. The more help we got, the more we needed, like some kind of trap. My neighbor Alice, an 81-year-old Spitfire when she arrived, used to lap the facility every day, swearing she wasn't going to slow down just cause of her age. But a few months in, I noticed she wasn't walking as much. Then she started using a walker, then a wheelchair. One day, she looked at me and said, "I don't know when it happened, but I feel like I aged 10 years in just a few months." That's exactly how it felt. When you stop using your body, you lose it fast. In a nursing home, where everything's set up to make life easier, it's easy to forget that movement ain't just about convenience. It's about staying alive. If I'd known how quick I'd lose my strength, I'd have fought harder to keep moving, to stay active, even on days when I didn't feel like it. If you're thinking about a nursing home, ask yourself, you gonna have the drive to keep your body strong when everything's built to make life effortless? Because once you slow down, bouncing back is a whole lot harder than you think. Regret 5. Saying bye to privacy and dignity. One thing I didn't think through before moving in was how much privacy I'd be giving up. At home, I had my own space, could close my bedroom door, chill in silence, do things on my terms. But in a nursing home, privacy's like a unicorn, rare and hard to find. From the jump, It felt like I was always under a microscope. Staff rolling in and out, scheduled room checks, shared spaces where you're almost never alone. Even simple stuff like getting dressed or hitting the bathroom often meant needing someone's help. I get it, they're just doing their job, but it's tough to swallow when you've been handling those things on your own your whole life. My first week, I was thrown by having to ask permission for stuff I used to do without a second thought. Want to take a shower? Might gotta wait till someone's free to assist. Need the restroom? Pressing the call button could mean waiting longer than you'd like. Meal choices? Limited. Fam don't like what's on the menu? Too bad. And don't get me started on roommates. Not everybody gets a private room, and sharing space with someone you didn't pick can be a straight-up hassle. I got lucky with a chill roommate, but I heard horror stories. Loud, messy roommates or folks with issues that made catching some Z's damn near impossible. No matter how hard you try to make your room feel like home, it's never truly yours. Dignity's a tough thing to lose, and I didn't realize how much of mine I'd have to give up till I was already in deep. When people knock but don't always wait for an answer, when you're talked to like a patient instead of a person, when your daily flow was dictated by a schedule you didn't make, it changes you. You start feeling less like yourself and more like just another name on a list. If you're thinking about a nursing home, ask yourself, you ready to let go of the privacy and control you've had your whole life? Because once it's gone, getting it back is a tall order. Regret 6. Leaving ain't as easy as you think. When I first moved in, I told myself it was just a trial run. I'd give a shot, see how it vibed, and if it wasn't my thing, I'd bounce back home. But what I didn't get was how hard it'd be to break free once I was in. At first, it seemed straightforward. If I didn't like it, I'd just go back to my crib. But home wasn't the same anymore. My house sat empty, and keeping it up from a distance was a pain. My kids started making moves, selling stuff they thought I didn't need, even floating the idea of renting out my place. When I brought up going back home, they hit me with a hesitation. You sure you can manage on your own? Ain't it safer to stay? We just want what's best for you. Then there was the physical side. After months of not cooking, cleaning, or walking much, I wasn't as strong as I used to be. The independence I'd had was slipping away, making the thought of living solo again feel like a pipe dream. I met others who were in the same boat. They thought they'd test out the nursing home for a bit, only to find out leaving wasn't so easy. The longer you stay, the harder it is to readjust to life outside. Some folks lost the option altogether. Homes sold, savings drained by care costs. That's the part nobody tells you. Moving in feels like a choice you can undo, but for most, it's a one-way ticket. The nursing home becomes your whole world, and the life you knew starts feeling like a distant memory. If you're thinking about a nursing home, ask yourself, you ready for the chance that once you're in, leaving might not be as simple as you think? Because the barriers, money, health, emotions, can be way tougher to overcome than you expect. Final thoughts, fam. Looking back, I don't regret getting older. That's just life doing its thing. But I do regret thinking a nursing home was my only play. I walked in expecting comfort, safety, a better vibe. What I got instead was a world that slowly stripped away my independence, my privacy, my purpose, and even my sense of who I am. Are all nursing homes whack? Nah. Some folks genuinely need the kind of care they offer. But before you make that leap, think real hard about what you're giving up. Because once you move in, life ain't ever the same. If I could rewind, I'd have fought tooth and nail to stay in my own spot, look for ways to get help without losing my freedom, and made damn sure I needed to be there before making such a permanent move. If you're fast in this choice, take a beat and ask yourself, is this really what's best for me or just what seems easiest right now? Because the life you got today, your routines, your independence, your choices, is worth holding onto for as long as you can, fam.